So that was three-step arrow. I didn't say anything in the beginning. Ah, very zen, very zen. Let me get back a little bit. I want to cut my head off there. Forgive me, but making videos is more challenging than it seems to get everything just right. So many factors. I'm doing my best. Anyways, so a three-step arrow it's an internal form. I know, again, a lot of Kung Fu looks like you're just dancing around. And to some extent it's true. However, three-step arrow is a powerful internal chi builder. And this is more of like Jing. You know, look up terminology if you want. I don't want to get too crazy with it because it can be more confusing. Let's just say there's different types of chi, okay? There's more of a healing, okay? There's an internal medical chi, which is a purely healing chi. In fact, I studied a type of medical qigong in China in 2001, and it was very powerful. A lot of it was all all from this posture, all everything, those type of movements. So you build this chi and you can direct it throughout your body after you generate it sufficiently over great time. Even in a short period of time, you'll feel something. I promise you, if you have any kind of intuition or greater awareness of that sort of thing, it's real. It's very real. And then there's which is more used in Tai Chi, you're combining the internal chi with a sort of projection, forceful chi. So you'll see that a lot in the Tai Chi. It's movement, you know, and then there's a strike. It's not so much physical force. There's a power behind that force. Yes. So that's what three-step arrow is. And three-step arrow is, you'll see see if this is the perfect view for you. Here's the main movement that you see in the beginning. It's a punch, an elbow extension, and fingers. The fingers aren't striking forward, the fingers are sort of vaulting. So punch, extension, fingers. It's a tricky movement to really get down right. Once you get a feel for it though. And even if you don't do it perfectly, so what? It's still beneficial. Woo! It's nature. Sorry, I got attacked. Didn't get stung, but I got attacked. Okay, back to the three-step arrow punch. This is important to do a few times, I think. I'll do it without the words since I give the description. But that's the important part that's added to it. So those three movements, okay? And then you draw the power in and release it. You can do whatever kind of breathing you want. Generally, the form is the way that I was taught it. You breathe a normal, nice, healthy breath. You know, a deep breath, not a shallow breath. A normal breath throughout. The only time that I change it a little bit is with that. Doesn't have to be super loud. It's just make sure that you're expelling some of that lung power. Because that chi rides on the breath, controlled by the mind. Okay? something you really got to work with, just like some of the other movements in Mantis, like which is similar to that vaulting of the fingers, and also similar to Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. It's coming from a short place, yet it has tremendous force, tremendous power, tremendous chi, more than just force. Same thing with this movement, which is a Mantis movement, where it's not a pushing forward, it's a pop, a snap. And that also helps generate the chi. It's great just to practice this, great for your wrists and everything. Loosens them up, good for carpal tunnel. You know, if you got any kind of work with that is useful for that as far as what I've learned from others. Don't quote me on that. I learned it from others that are professionals. I don't have the reference right now. Actually, I do. One of them is Matt Fury, and he still is going, and he is a professional combat conditioning specialist. Fantastic body weight exercises is his prime focus. Chinese and generally Asian culture is his inspiration. I was always fascinated with him. Been following him for a long time. Okay, so let's do the form one more time, just for fun. See what happens. Yeah. So I can't show you this, but I can feel what that does. I would say you really can apply this to any martial arts. It's more of the way that you're doing it. Normally, we're trying to hit as hard as we can. I slow things down a little bit because it's difficult to learn from videos if it's too fast. I think it's good to show that in points. So just understand that I'm really just trying to show you the relatively proper movement. Everyone's body is a little different. I learned this in yoga in my teacher training. In yoga anatomy, you'll take a pose such as triangle, right? Depending on your body type, you may need to do different things with your hips, etc. So it's not always like this is exactly how you do it. Well, depending on if you're male or female, the way that your general bone structure is, you may need to make small adjustments. So I find that to be true in martial arts as well. This perfect form of having your elbow in, right? Or making sure your face is covered. Making elbows in, big mantis thing, right? Elbows in. Of course. It's going to look a little bit different with different bodies, that's all. So don't be too harsh on yourself or too critical. Do your best to study general movements, what they should look like, and do your best. Just keep doing. Don't let yourself be prevented from the doing. And I would encourage not getting hung up on too much of the specifics of this form is exactly the way that it's supposed to be. You cannot make any new adjustments or add anything. So, sorry. I will admit that that three-step arrow is not exactly the way that I learned it. I added a couple things from different forms and I made a small adjustment. Not very much. It's almost all identical to what I learned. And it's okay. Really, what I'm trying to do is, with my friend as well, what I had mentioned before in different videos, we are working on a combination of southpaw boxing and mantis and general karate, everything, sort of like what Bruce Lee did. But we're focusing on two styles, and that's what we both know the most. He knows more about the others than I do. I pretty much just know mantis, and I've picked up some things of other styles. So it's more of like it's very universal. There's only so many different types of movements that the body can make. There's only so many ways to punch. There's only so many different fists that you can make. There's only so many ideal techniques of preventing your own injury. There's only so much. It's more about how things are combined and applied. And then you start getting practical. You're like, so I learned this thing from mantis where we have to be in this stance all the time, right? This is the basic stance. All right? You're supposed to always be here, everywhere you go. Now, when someone is vaulting a lunge kick at you, all right, they're coming at you hard, karate style kick. That it doesn't always work in every situation, so you need to be able to adapt. You cannot be too rigid. So what I learned, and this is actually from another mantis student long ago, was he was more fond of this. Because when you're really getting hit hard, you're not necessarily that some stances like that can leave you vulnerable, and so you want to always work around. So the point is being creative is okay. I really believe this, and it can make you a better martial artist. So with this, I think the important point is where you're really generating the power and chi is from this particular movement. Okay, it's not like you're really clenching hard. You're drawing in energy. That's what your mind should be focused on. with your breath. Right? You're breathing in, and then the punch, right? Breathing in like a rubber band. That's how I was taught, like a rubber band. And there's that movement that's unique to mantis, which is this sort of soft and hard. Ha. It's soft, ha. Even the blocks. Soft, hard. Soft, hard. Soft, hard. Get the point? Not easy to perfect, but once you start getting the flow of it, it becomes very natural. It's very good. It's like the mantis. It's very deceptive. Like boxing. You do want to keep your opponent off guard mentally, physically, psychologically. That's mentally. Anyways, it's beautiful, right? Sun is about to set. Namaste, sun. I believe the sun is a living being. That's another topic for another video. Look how beautiful this is. Look how beautiful this is. It's so peaceful. I love making these videos out here. I think it's wonderful. I think it's a perfect place for yoga, martial arts, even philosophical discussions. I don't know if you can hear it, but in the background, aside from a little bit of wind noise, which is natural, as long as it's not too overwhelming. There's a tree right there. It's called a cottonwood tree. It's a Central American native, also a native of Minnesota. All throughout the central U.S. you'll find this. You'll also find it in warmer regions. The thing is with the trees, when they do the zones like that, you're just not going to find certain things in colder regions. Generally, everything's everywhere. Another video, another topic, I do get into that. I used to be a landscaper. Love plants and understanding their names and all that kind of stuff. So the cottonwood tree, it's like the aspen. And I don't know if you know anything about aspen, which is also native here. The leaves kind of clap. They have sort of a really mild clapping sound. I have some short videos on YouTube. You can look at them if you want. Atlantean Oak Adventures. And I can capture just a still version of the leaves kind of clapping. There's something about that that's really awesome to me. It's very peaceful. So I think that's one of the things that is secret about martial arts that people aren't getting here, hidden, is that a lot of it was in times that were more rural, more nature. It's totally different. And I highly recommend spending as much time outdoors as possible. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you got something valuable out of this. Namaste. May the force be with you.